This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, it's game number 2 of a 3-game series. The Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. A look at the National League Central standings. Mike Matheny's club, 94-56. They lead Pittsburgh by 4, Chicago by 6. Good pitchers in Major League Baseball, in particular in the National League. 30 or more starts, 200 or more innings. You can add to that list a selected group of John Lackey now is a part of it. Lackey with 200 innings, pitched 7 strong his last time out against Milwaukee. He'll get the call tonight. That's Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball, game number 2, the Cardinals and the Reds. And John Lackey has been sensational this year, Al, and really good here at home.
He's really putting together quite a resume, a long distinguished career. 8 times he's had the 30 starts, 6 different times over 200 innings, and you could make a case for he's been the Cardinals' most consistent pitcher all season long.
And so good here at Busch Stadium. John Lackey getting the call tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals. Game number 2, Cardinals and Reds, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Lewis, as we get you set for game number 2. One thing about the Cardinals, they've had great players and great pitchers over the years. Along with that, and some history last night. Trevor Rosenthal with save number 47. He'll look to set the all-time single-season mark in Cardinals history tonight before this season is through. Rosenthal and the Cardinals take on the Reds. It's game 2. It comes your way next. Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. The banks of the Mississippi, beautiful skyline of downtown St. Louis. It's Cardinals baseball tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. Jason Bourgeois will lead it off for Cincinnati, followed by Jay Bruce and Joey Votto. Brandon Phillips, Todd Frazier, Brian Pena, the switch hitting catcher. Then Suarez, Duvall, and the pitcher Sampson. The top pinch hitter in terms of hits this year in the National League belongs to Skip Schumacher. He'll come off the bench tonight. John Lackey at start number 31 tonight and looking for lucky number 13.
See the 2.79 ERA, that's sixth best in the National League. Won his last start, his 7 shutout innings in Milwaukee, and he currently has a 12-inning scoreless streak working.
The man just pumps strike after strike after strike. And you would think teams would be very aggressive early in counts with Lackey, and I think we saw a trend of that maybe 3-4 starts ago where they were aggressive early on. Then he adapted to that, but for the most part he's always around the plate.
And one of the highest first pitch strike ratios in the game. I think Kansas City was the only team that kind of jumped in first pitch. But the one thing is Lackey, as you said, he's really made adjustments himself. But he's the only Cardinal pitcher that has actually pitched better in the second half than the first half. And his first half was pretty good too.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout to start the night for John Lackey. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for the Cardinals veteran, the 36-year-old John Lackey.
Basically, he's the really a fastball slider type pitcher. He throw the four seam and the sinker, the two different dominant pitches he throws, but a lot of the sliders is where he gets the strikeout and put away pitch.
First pitch is strike 2, Jay Bruce. Hitting just .231, but you know he's got pop. 24 home runs. He's driven in 82. Hitless in 4 plate appearances last night. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's 4 for 20 with a home run against John Lackey. And you pretty much feel that with a .231 batting average, most of his power comes on mistake locations.
Drilled deep right. And a no-doubter, 1-0 Cincinnati, and a long home run off the bat of Jay Bruce, one of the longest we've ever seen from a left-handed batter here at Busch Stadium 3. That baby was crushed.
Well, like I said, look at most of his home runs, and now this is 25. We're going to come on mistake locations. It's 207. Doesn't that tie Eric Davis on their all-time franchise list for home runs? And Lackey, the one thing, you get to him, you got to get to him early. He'll make some, and there you see. Look at Tony Cruz. The glove goes from outside right over to the middle of the plate and right in the wheelhouse of a left-handed hitter.
That's it out of play off the bat of Joey Votto. So Jay Bruce, another big home run campaign with 25. Votto has 28. 75 driven in, hitting .313, on base percentage well above .400. He will not win the MVP, but if Cincinnati was in contention, he'd be in contention for that award. Here's a 1-1 instead. Time is called. Remember, he dealt with leg issues a year ago, and the Reds have talked about his stance being different this season. A little bit more of a crouch in that stance. He's not nearly as upright as he was a year ago, and the knees are feeling better. The quad is better, and Joey Votto is better.
And he looks like he's lost a lot of weight too. Better conditioning.
Looks in great shape.
Yes. So I'm walking in Cincinnati, and from afar, I didn't think it was he because he looked so slender and so didn't look as big. And that crouch is much more pronounced.
Yeah, you just think about that base, and I think about the at-bat and watching Matt Holliday last night. You know, he did not seem comfortable in that base of his stance, and how legs can be so important for a hitter. 2-2, a check swing. He went around and a strikeout of Votto. 2 in the inning. Let's take a look at the Cardinals defense. The two heroes from last night, Piscotty and Pham, back in there. In left and in center, Hayward in right, Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Matt Adams. You see pictured there getting a start. Cruz behind the plate. And that's presented by Dobbs. A look at the Cardinals D.
I get the feeling we're going to kind of alternate with Grichuk playing in the rotation, Piscotty over first. Then the next day it'll be Adams at first and Piscotty in the left field.
The Cardinals are walking a fine line right now because you want to get potential players that could be on your postseason roster timing back, but yet you're still trying to win the Central Division.
It's a very delicate balancing act, and you're also trying to get these guys back who don't feel like they're getting enough at bats or continuous at bats. You know, in the case of Adams, you get a couple at bats, and then you're waiting 3 days. But it's tough because right now he's going through spring training, so he probably won't finish the ball game. Holiday, I think we all kind of thought by this time we'd see him back, but as you said, he wasn't real comfortable yesterday.
2-2 the count. Holiday has said time and again that he will not play left field and be in that lineup until he feels 100%.
And you can't blame him. The last thing he wants to do is, go out there and re-injure it and then be lost completely for the postseason.
2-2 the count on Phillips, who's hitting .296. Ground ball that's hit to short. There's Peralta to his left. Jay Bruce with a long home run, number 25. RBI number 83. With one swing, half inning in the books, 1-0. Reds on top. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Matt Carpenter leads it off, followed by Tommy Pham and then Jason Hayward. Peralta, Adams, Piscotty, Wong, Cruz, and Lackey. Starting 9 for the Cardinals in their lineup. On the bench, some of the big names out. You have a lot of thunder on that bench. A Brandon Moss, a Matt Holliday, Randall Grichuk, Mark Reynolds. So plenty of choices as we go along in this game. Kivas Sampson, 10th start, a record of 2-5, the high ERA, a number of walks, 21 in nearly 40 innings.
They got an all 5 rookie rotation. And this kid is getting a chance. He's had a couple second chances too in life. To see he got his life straightened out. Got in a little trouble when he was age 15. Actually went to go live with his high school coach.
We saw Lamb last night. The left-hander was very good. Cardinals got to Hoover in the 8th and never saw Aroldis Chapman, who had been throwing and getting loose in the pen. 0-2 the count on Matt Carpenter. One thing that Lamb did last night is he kept the Cardinals hitters off balance, changed speeds very, very well. Well, when you think about this young man, Kiva Sampson, that's not what he does. A lot of the pitches that he has, there's just not a lot of difference in the speed, and that is an issue for him. He's got a good fastball. Some believe he's projected to be a middle reliever because he can't get it up to 95, 96 as a reliever, but not as a starter. Here's a 1-2. On the outside corner, strikeout of Matt Carpenter. As he questions home plate umpire Jerry Davis, who's been at this a long, long time.
See right there off the plate quite a bit, and I understand why Carpenter didn't like it, but that will help a young pitcher if you get that kind of a big strike zone.
Tommy Pham is hitting .271. Little bouncer to Brandon Phillips, only 6 errors this year. 2 away. Duvall in left, Bourgeois in center. Jay Bruce is in right field. Frazier, Suarez, Phillips, and Votto on the infield, and Payne is behind the plate.
The Reds, as a pitching staff this year, have an ERA of 4.20, and I still find it boggling the mind that the Reds this year, they've held the Cardinals to a 2.22 average.
And yet they've hit the Cardinals in 17 games at a 2.92 average. The home run, by the way, off the bat of Jay Bruce, 456 feet. Longest ever by a left-handed batter. New record here at Busch Stadium, which passes Brandon Moss. His was at 454 feet. And it ties the longest home run hit by a visiting player here at New Busch Stadium, if you will, Busch Stadium 3. Paul Goldschmidt back in 2012 had one at that distance. Off the glove of Votto and a base hit into right field. Kivas Sampson, what do we know? Let's take a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal for this right-hander.
Well, you can see a majority of his pitch is going to be the fastball, no surprise there, and a little more of the curve and slider. You kind of get into the point where it's more of a slurve. Don't have a real good curveball or the slider, and then he'll throw the change. He's got 4 pitches, but probably the pitch count becomes an issue with it, the fact that he can't really repeat his delivery and throw a lot of strikes.
Outfield is straight away for Johnny Peralta. Peralta is sitting on 16 home runs. He's had a tough second half with just 3 home runs. Has not homered in 43 games. And a check on Jason Hayward, who has 22 stolen bases this year. The Cardinals, with the win last night in dramatic fashion again, have now won 12 games this year with trailing after 7 innings. That's 3 more than anybody else in baseball. Those are signature wins. Wins that championship teams come up with and find a way. It's really been the motto of this team. Next man up, find a way. 1-0 pitch to Johnny Peralta. And a high fly ball lifted into right. Bruce is going back, and with room makes the catch on the track. Cardinals strand a runner. That's Hayward. 1 inning in the books. 1-0 Reds. Louis Cardinals and Cardinals Care. It's Michael Hall and Bill DeWitt. A guy named Dan emceeing the ceremony. Stephen Piscotty. And a chance to visit with the kids. More than $150,000 distributed today to 70 nonprofits. And since its inception back in 1997, they now have given out over $22 million. So congratulations to Michael Hall and his staff and Bill DeWitt. Cardinals ownership doing a great job. Here's Todd Frazier, who's hitting .260. And I know the money helps out because they donate every year to my annual golf event, which is coming up on October 12th to benefit the Special Education Foundation of St. Louis. This is my 13th year. And we've been able to raise over $2 million dispersed. Yeah. The fly ball into shallow right, but that goes to kids with mental and physical disabilities, and it's really a special evening that we have. So even if you don't play golf and you want to come out and take in the dinner, some incredible stories of families, and it'll motivate you. You won't leave with a dry eye, I guarantee it. It's October 12th, all to benefit the Special Education Foundation. You can sign up for golf or make a donation, and we've been able to help out a lot of families and a lot of kids at that golfing event. Here's Brian Pena, the switch hitter, batting .278.
First start he's had since injuring his right hamstring.
What do they do at the catcher spot next year if you're the Cincinnati Reds?
Well, Mesoraco, was their #1, but they're thinking his days may be over back behind the plate.
Exactly.
Because of his hip.
That's past Peralta and into center field. Let's take a look at Al Raboski's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we really want the old warrior Lackey just to continue his dominance here at home, just continue to pitch well. And the one thing is, we've always gotten that good starting pitcher, but the offense, you really don't rely on one person. So who's going to step up and be the offensive star tonight? The kids have been doing a great job of late.
So one out. Runner at first, and here is Suarez, who's been a pleasant surprise this year for the Reds. And a base hit into left center field. Stopping at second will be Pena. Runners at first and second. And the 8th place hitter, Adam Duvall, digs in.
Now, the one thing about Lackey, too, is, like I said, early in the game, you're going to have a little trouble, or he'll have a little trouble. There, the high breaking ball just stayed about belt high when it came down, and like it was just a single. But he does lead the National League in 25 and double play balls induced. So he can have some very efficient innings, but it usually takes him 2 or 3 innings to get going. And that happens to a lot of your better pitchers. If you're going to get them, you get them early.
Duvall late with that swing. Strike one. A lot of power with this young man. 3 home runs, hitting only 161. He was over 3 last night. He's driven in 6. He had 30 combined in 2 different stops in the minor leagues this year. 30 home runs. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Lackey would love the double play. That's something that he is able to do quite often. He did it early in his last start against Milwaukee. First 2 innings, inning-ending double plays. And he's got 25 that he's begun. Most in the National League.
Could use one right now.
1-2 the count. It's a byproduct of keeping the ball low. And then also, you think about his slider with right-handed batters, how many times he gets them to reach, and you'll see that ground ball hit to the left side.
Yeah, off balance an awful lot. Duvall, last season with the Giants, he had his first major league home run off of Mike Leake, and then he was traded for him this year at the trade deadline.
That was the pitch he wanted, and a base hit into shallow right field. The bases are loaded as Duvall went the other way. Pena, the lead runner, has been stretching out that leg. As Al mentioned, he's been dealing with an injury there. Had to wait to make sure this got through. Not a bad pitch.
No, from his angle, he didn't know if second baseman Wong was going to be able to catch that ball, so he could just go 90 feet. That was the one thing about Duvall. And with all those home runs, kind of has an uppercut swing. He was totally off balance.
And a chopper to second base. Glove by Wong. It's a double play. With the bases loaded, Sampson grounds into a double play. And Wong, not easy at all, with a short hop, the tag, and then the throw. Here's the short hop. There's your tag. There's the throw. Double play. 1-0 Cincinnati. Of the one and only, the great Jim Hayes. Jimmy, take it away.
Danny, I talked to Yachty before the game, and he was actually pretty upbeat. He told me that when he first hurt that left thumb on Sunday, he thought that it would be a lot worse than it actually is. He said when he got word that it's a slight ligament tear, he actually took that as good news. He says he's hopeful he'll be back playing this season, and he's thinking before the end of the regular season. He says for now, just some ice on the thumb and leave it alone. He said he learned a lot about patience from his thumb injury last year, but he thinks this one won't keep him out for too long. And Dan, he seemed pretty optimistic about his situation.
Jim, did anybody ask him about the fact that he stayed in the game in Chicago? And I think it's been overshadowed a bit as you see the shift on here for Matt Adams. But he stayed in the game after suffering the slight tear in the thumb and was catching a guy throwing 100 miles an hour. Anybody talk about that with him?
Yeah, he said he played with some pain, and he said it still hurt yesterday, and he said it's still sore today, but he said it is getting better. But he admit he had to play through some pain, and he thinks when he comes back he'll probably have to do some more of that, Dan, especially gripping a bat.
1-2 on Adams. Thank you, Jimmy. Adams hitting .237 with 5 home runs. He's driven in 22. And the 1-2 pitch. I would think with the leg injury you'd even be more inclined to use the shift, because he's probably not inclined to drop down a bunt. Now in this case he's got 2 strikes on him, but that's something to think about in the strategy with Matt Adams.
Most clubs are just going, if he wants to drop down a bunt, so be it. They'll give him that, but they're trying to guard against an extra base hit or one leaving the ballpark with the shift.
The 2-2.
that, trying to find his timing. And let's face it, it takes a little time. Been off that long time. You got pitchers that are way ahead of you.
The 3-2 pitch. Adams sitting on 5 home runs. And he draws a leadoff walk. We talk about the Cardinals making history in a good way with their starting staff and really overall. How about the Reds this year? The rookie starters, historic in terms of how many starts they've gotten from rookies. And now it's 52 in a row.
But look at Cardinals still can't figure them out. They've actually gotten better as a pitching staff. Brian Price, when he put in the 5 rookies out there, other teams have found a way.
There's Stephen Piscotty. The pitch is popped up. Phillips near the line. 1 down. Going back to what Jim was talking about, Yadier Molina. He became an everyday catcher for the Cardinals in 2005. He was brought up in 2004 as you get a look at Colton Wong. Just doing some numbers here on Molina. He's also played in over a half season's games of postseason play. 85 games in the postseason, in addition to all the games and innings he's logged in regular season play. And that gets overlooked a little bit too.
And I think that was part of the reason why he lost so much weight in the offseason, is he wanted to extend his career, his knees and everything, by losing the weight. Also to play on a more consistent basis. If he's healthy, he's in there day in, day out. And the fact that he'll have a career high, or now it'll be close, depending on when he comes back, of innings.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Wong takes a ball, 2-0. See Molina swinging an imaginary left-hander swing. He just means so much behind the plate, calling games, the understanding of the opposition. Here's a 2-0.
Psychologically, what it does for the pitching staff when he's back there.
Shutting down a running game. I think it's going to be fascinating to see if teams try to take advantage of Cruz, and then in turn how that affects the pitching staff in terms of rushing deliveries towards the plate, those kind of things.
Well, it sure didn't hurt that on Sunday, a crucial point, they had Speedster on their first base, and they were going to challenge Tony Cruz, and he threw him out for the first time in 26 attempts.
Quentin Berry. Wong close to a home run to tie the game up yesterday. Hit it off the top of the wall in right field. He has 11 this year. He's driven in 58. He was 1 for 4 with that double in game 1 of this series.
And here, I had Danny Martinez look this up for me the other day, but between 1970 and 1980, when Ted Simmons was the Cardinals' everyday starter, Simba averaged 142 games a season. Yadi averages 122 games a season. Now, part of that's been because he's had a couple serious injuries, and Teddy really didn't.
3-2. Wong fights it off, and a base hit into left field. Adams to second base. And the tying run is in scoring position for the Cardinals. The Krispy Kreme dozen deal. If your Cardinals get 9 hits tonight, you're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. You'll receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations for this sensational deal. Here's Tony Cruz. One out, runners at first and second. The pitcher, John Lackey, on deck. And that's ball one. Tony Cruz hitting 178. 1 home run, 7 RBIs. He had a base hit to right field last night. A base hit to right field, I'm not sure that would score Adams with how he's running and with the arm of Jay Bruce. Billy Hamilton, the everyday center fielder this year for the Reds, is done for the season. He will have shoulder surgery on Friday. He's still here in St. Louis, not in uniform, and is done. So surgery on Friday for Billy. Just popped out of the clubhouse. And a 2-0 pitch to Tony Cruz. Cruz lines it into a double play. W, Dad, a strong fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. This is our Budweiser Bash. We've been celebrating the 1985 team, 30th anniversary of that squad all season long, and in the house tonight throwing out our ceremonial first pitch. One of my favorites, one of the favorites of all Cardinal fans, the always popular Willie McGee. Here's a look at Joe Pfeiffer shaking hands right now, and Whitey Herzog is there. Willie is a special assistant to John Mozeliak, and he came to St. Louis, you may recall, in a trade for pitcher Bob Sykes, and was thrust into the national spotlight. 1982, who could forget Game 3 of that World Series, one of the best in the World Series history. Had a couple of home runs and also took one away. 9th inning off of Gorman Thomas. Love seeing Willie back in the ballpark. We're seeing him more and more here at Busch Stadium.
Nice. So I think, you know, Vivian's loosened the reins on him a little bit, but I think it's really more that the kids are getting a little bit older, and so he's able to get away a little bit more frequently. But you're absolutely right, and hopefully the way Willie, when he does come back here, and how the fans still love him, and say the same thing about Whitey Herzog too, that came in. Part of this was not only the for tonight, the bobblehead, you know, honoring the 85 team, but for Whitey's golf tournament.
Little bouncer that's pulled foul off the bat of Jason Bourgeois. You think about the great crowds that we now experience here in St. Louis, and the Cardinals, for the 12th time in the last 16 years, headed to postseason play. It really it got back going again thanks to Whitey Ball. You know, Tommy Hearn, Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, Vince Coleman, Terry Pendleton.
Remember, at one time, Whitey was the general manager and the manager, and so he's very, very in tune to how important the attendance was. And Whitey really kind of made the push and had the type of team that was so entertaining that they started going over 3 million.
3-2 pitch is hit out of play. Bourgeois struck out his first time up. It's another 3-2. Soft liner hit down the right field line and a base hit. And Lackey screaming back at Jerry Davis. He thought he had Bourgeois. Struck out on a called third strike, didn't get the call.
Jerry Davis with the glasses now. You're right, he's been around a long time. He lives now in Wisconsin, but was a St. Louis native.
Now Jay Bruce. Long home run his first time up. Measured at 456 feet. Cardinals an inning-ending double play to end the top of the second with the bases loaded, only one out. Lackey would love that double play here. 1-0 pitch. Fastball and a strike.
Jay Bruce, only 28 years of age, and already has played more games in right field than any other Red in their history.
John Lackey has had a great year. There's no doubt about it. At this point, though, let me ask you, game one of the playoffs starts tomorrow. Do you know who your number one is?
No, but he would be on my list, and
sure.
I think we both say that, and I think might surprise some people, but he really has been the most consistent, and he's had the best second half. Lowest ERA of the 5 starters in the second half.
Games 1 and 5 in the division series, if you get there, would be here at Busch Stadium. Lackey has been sensational at home.
I remember when we acquired John Lackey last year at the trade deadline, one of the things they said was his post-game experience and how well he's pitched in the postseason. As a rookie back in 2004, he closed out the World Series, Game 7 for the Angels, and then he beat the Cardinals in 2004 as a member of the Boston Red Sox in the final.
Two and two the count. Lackey's so good in 2013. Cardinals ran into that buzzsaw of the Boston Red Sox that year. John Lester very good in that series. Pittsburgh has jumped out to a 1-0 lead over the Rockies. That's in the first inning. Chicago 2-0 over Milwaukee. That's in the top of 4. Swung on and missed. Strikeout of Jay Bruce. Third strikeout for Lackey. Hey, the most popular way to follow the Cardinals' push to the postseason is with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. You'll enjoy look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, and so much more. MLB.com at Bat. One out, and here's Joey Votto.
Lackey just paying a little more attention, altering his time to the plate, trying to control the running game or help out Tony Cruz.
Tell you what, our director Tom Mead does not miss a beat. Gets all the shots here in the ballpark and all the things that fans love to see. That's a foul ball. I'm sure you would agree.
Well, I would agree. Occasionally we get the game in.
Votto struck out first time up on a check swing, could not hold up. No balls and 1 strike.
Votto's 3 for 10 against Lackey with a couple home runs. Most of the Reds, John, has had their number.
Found it interesting. I said to somebody from the Red side, what's the back end of this contract for Votto going to look like? And at that point in his career, advanced in age. And they said, well, if he doesn't hit, he can still walk.
Yeah.
So he's got one of the great batting eyes they've ever seen.
On base percentage is off the charts.
But it's the age-old question. If you're going to pay this kind of money to Joey Votto or any power hitter, would you rather see them expand their zone, hit for power, more home runs, more RBIs, a drop in average, a drop in on-base percentage?
He's reached base this season via hit, walk, or hit by pitch 297 times. 19 shy of his 2013 single season club record.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Votto. On the outside corner and a strikeout to Joey. Back-to-back strikeouts for tonight for John Lackey.
Well, we know Joey Votto has a tremendous eye, and most times when he doesn't swing at a pitch, it's a ball. And that was 1-2. But we saw Carpenter swing out or called out on a similar pitch. So it's up to Lackey to really expand that zone, take advantage of that.
Jerry Davis, the crew chief, behind the plate. Phil Cuzzi, Gabe Morales, Tony Randazzo on the bases tonight. Here's Brandon Phillips, grounded out to short. First time up, he's 0 for 1. Big gap in left center.
Dan, when I was pitching an A-ball back then, of course it was last century, that you would, if you were the starting pitcher tonight, it was a 2-man umpiring crew. So if you were the starting pitcher, you coached first base the next night. The home plate umpire tonight would be the first base umpire.
Lackey may have gotten a piece of it. And a flip to Peralta from Colton. Red strand a runner. They have left 3 on. 1-0 Cincinnati. Meet for the first time. Josh Barnett takes on Roy Nelson, a long-awaited matchup. Plus, the biggest challenge yet, Uriah Hall takes on Gegard Mousasi. UFC Fight Night is coming up 9 Saturday, only on FS1.
When are we going to promote you and Jim Hayes? That fight.
Jim already has the cat fight. You appeared on that on a regular basis.
It was so successful we got rid of it.
When Jim could not find the guest that was
supposed
scheduled
to be there.
Al, you want to join me for a little cat fight, huh?
No.
I know you loved it.
It was some of the things that we've done. That was one of the more entertaining ones.
Lackey with a fly ball into shallow right. Jay Bruce. Albert Pujols with a home run tonight, number 556. So now ahead of Manny Ramirez. Up next, Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson.
How about Houston? They ran into a buzzsaw named the Texas Rangers, didn't they?
It's a key series in Houston with the Angels.
Rangers lost last night. Houston won third in a row, so they trail by 1 in the American League West.
We talk about Lackey's great success here at home. Dallas Keuchel, the left-hander of the Astros, is nearly unbeatable at home. He'll be in the conversation for the Cy Young Award here in the National League. Jake Arrieta, his second opportunity to go for win number 20 is tonight.
Pitching at home against Milwaukee, and he has a 2-0 lead.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Carpenter. 2-1.
I was telling you, like in the minor leagues back when I was there at A-ball, you had a manager, Joe Cunningham, and no coaches. So as a starting pitcher, if I pitched tonight, I'd be the first base coach tomorrow. You had a 2-man umpiring crew. Home plate umpire would be the first base umpire tomorrow. And I learned at a young age, where an umpire said, I really like umpiring when you pitch. And I said, why? He goes, well, you throw strikes. And I made mention of that, and I noticed every time that umpire was behind the plate when I pitched, I tried to expand my zone, and I got called strikes because he had in his mind I could throw strikes. That's why I said with Lackey, we've seen Jerry Davis has that big wide strike zone away to the left-handed batters. Take advantage of it. Go out there and use that advantage. You know, and that's what Maddox, Glavine, those guys did all the time. They expanded the strike zone.
3-2 is hammered down the right field line, and that ball is fair. And a ground rule double for the Cardinals' Matt Carpenter. And Carpenter, along with Todd Frazier, they are 1-2 in doubles this year in the National League.
That's his 40th double, and Frazier has 41. But remember, we talked about he's gotten more power this year, so you see that more of an uppercut swing, where it's helped produce the 24 home runs, a career high, but he's still getting those doubles. A couple years ago, he hit 55 doubles, and Holiday was saying, hey, go for more power. And he's done so this year.
A ball to Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham, the first Cardinals rookie with 8 extra base hits, 8 runs scored, 10 RBIs over a 7-game span since 1936, when Johnny Mize did it. He has played himself onto the postseason roster and maybe into that game 1 lineup too. Be tough to keep him out right now.
Yeah, it really would be. Depending on who our first baseman is, and I think that's still a question mark.
2-0 pitch to Tommy Pham.
And if it's not Matt Adams, I think it has to be Stephen Piscotty. You know, your left field. If Holiday can work his way back in the lineup and feels he's able to contribute, then I think he's your left fielder, and then it's up to Pham and Grichuk who plays center field. There's going to be some really tough competition.
Here's a 2-1. 3-1 the count.
Of course, that's with Grichuk being able to throw. His last test is this week or Friday. He'll throw from 120 feet. They won't say that's good enough. So from there, past that test, no limitations.
3-1 driven into center field. This one all the way to the wall. Carpenter scores. Pham to second. And he'll stop there. Make sure he's all right. He stopped, and I'm not sure if he didn't hurt himself. Ties the game up at 1-1.
He's running away from Conroy. Chris Conroy, the assistant trainer. Mike Matheny's going to do it. So he's kind of like he put on the brakes. He wanted to go to third, and then all of a sudden he decided to stop and tried to reverse and get back to second base. Just drives this ball, and you can see Bourgeois was not going to be able to cut it off. So he knows he's got a double, but he's thinking 3. And there you see when he tried to stop, put on the brakes, the right angle, tried to grab him. May have been right when he went to the second base bag. Watch when he steps that way. Yep, kind of turned right there. Wow.
Tommy Pham is a great story in perseverance. Originally drafted as a shortstop. The Cardinals at times admittedly had given up on him because he had been so injured, but he did not give up on himself. Now Hayward a chance to put the Cardinals on top. That's the 91st run scored by Matt Carpenter this year, and RBI number 17 for Tommy Pham.
Pham and Grichuk and Piscotty, 3 young hitters, done so much this year to contribute.
'91 runs for Carpenter, so an outside chance at 100 before this season is through. 9 away.
We have to hope, don't we? Just because we don't score many runs.
Here's a 2-0.
Cardinals are playing in game number 151, and that run that Carpenter just scored was the 600th run of the season. Most of the time you'd like to, you think you're shooting for 800 runs in a year.
Well, they turn him loose on 3-0. And it's a strike to Hayward. The 91 runs scored for Carpenter, that's 6th most in the National League. League leader is Bryce Harper at 116. The 3-1 pitch to Hayward. Hit out of play. And for Tommy Pham, it's not just getting hits, it's extra base hits. 9 of his last 12 hits have gone for extra bases.
Well, they knew when they signed him he would be a great athlete. But with all the injuries he's had, he couldn't show or display that talent. But think of him now, if he could have still played shortstop with this extra base power.
3-2 is chopped to first base. Votto will flip to the pitcher covering. That's Sampson. Here's a look at what the pitching has done with runners in scoring position. And it's a big difference for the St. Louis Cardinals. Last year, the opposition with runners in scoring position hit 242. This year, 212. A major difference from a year ago. And that is part of the story of the Cardinals of 2015. You don't allow runs when you have a 212 average against you with runners in scoring position.
And it goes back to that theory of pitching to contact too. You're pitching to contact. You want them to hit the ball. You're not a strikeout staff. So when they put balls in play, a certain percentage are going to be base hits. But then if you're really knuckle down and you get guys in scoring position, all of a sudden you just really do battle. And that's what the Cardinals starters have done for the most part. They have really pitched well with guys in scoring position.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Peralta. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sampson, originally a 4th-round selection in 2009 by the San Diego Padres, and with just a few hours to go before the deadline to sign him, they did. He was committed to go to Florida State. They gave him $600,000 to sign. Here's a 1-1. He was claimed off of waivers from the Padres to Cincinnati this past January. Go-ahead run is at third base, and Tommy Pham, who's tied this game up with an RBI double. A count of 2 balls, 1 strike on Johnny Peralta.
Pena has wanted a lot of fastballs, but pitcher reluctant to throw it. Now they'll settle on a slider.
And a foul ball.
In this situation, Pena, the catcher, has more confidence in the fastball than Sampson, the pitcher, does. Fastball in. See if he can get it in there.
The 2-2. Peralta pulls it fair. Frazier gloves and throws. It makes a tremendous play. It takes an extra base hit and an RBI away from Johnny Peralta. So Tommy Pham left stranded. Very good play here by Frazier. Cardinals have tied it up. It's 1-1. And all fans entering with a ticket receive a 2016 Cardinals Magnet schedule presented by Shelter Insurance and a ticket voucher for a 2016 home game. Kids 48 inches and under receive a free Six Flags ticket. Visit Cardinals.com/promotions for more info. Here's Todd Frazier, made a very fine play on that ground ball off the bat of Johnny Peralta to save a hit and a run. We're tied up 1-1 here in inning number 4. The Cubs a 2-0 lead. That's in the top of 5. Chris Bryant with his 26th home run of the season tonight. Hanging breaking ball deep in the hole. Peralta, tough play. And the stretch by Adams, and safe at first is Frazier with an infield base hit.
Peralta almost got a chance to return the favor. A great play by Frazier kept the Cardinals and Reds tied, and took a hit away, an RBI away from Peralta, but one deep in the hole. This time Frazier beats it out.
The home run for Bryant breaks Billy Williams' record of most home runs hit by a Cubs rookie. 26 for Chris Bryant. We started the season talking about the Cubs holding back Bryant for service time and getting another year before hitting free agency. Did not play in their first 8 games, and the Cubs went 5-3 in those 8. So really not much of a difference, and they pick up a year.
You know, Dan, so many of the times when you have somebody that's delayed, they delay it because of arbitration. You know, so they knew that this kid was going to make an impact as soon as he got here. They're just trying to buy the 1-year free agency.
That's hit down the right field line. Runner was off with a pitch, and it's pulled foul. 0-2 the count on the catcher, Brian Pena.
And if you were trying to do it for arbitration, he probably would have set out more, almost half the season. Does a Cub fan come get here early to watch postseason baseball?
To the count. Pulled foul. Pena singled to center field. First time up. About 3 steps to the left of Peralta, and that's where he grounded out to end the game last night. Takes a pitch low, 1-2. Lackey has not walked a man. He's struck out 4, and he's allowed 6 base hits, but only 1 run. That goes back to what you were talking about. May get hit around a little bit early on, but then he settles in. We'll see if that holds true. Blocked by Cruz, and staying is Frazier at first base.
Nice block there by Tony. Todd took that secondary lead and was on his way to second, but then stopped. He saw this ball didn't get by Tony. Goes off to the side. He was alert to Frazier, ready to throw him out. He went back.
Two and 2 the count. And the next from the Cardinals starter. Lifted in the air. Left field, Stephen Piscotty makes the catch.
Frazier knows who's in left field tonight.
What you're referring to those that did not see it last night, Randall Grichuk, the Reds were running on him, understanding his arm is an issue, so he was lifted in the 6th inning, and Todd Frazier tried to advance on a routine base hit to left and was thrown out. It went 7-6-4. Here's Suarez. Misses in, ball 1. He singled to center field back in the 2nd inning. It was 3 consecutive singles for the Reds, and then an inning-ending double play off the bat of the pitcher, Sampson. The 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Double play ball. Wong steps on the back. There's 2. The second double play turned by the Cardinals tonight. Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, Jaime Garcia had a real good start last night. He says part of the credit goes to Tony Cruz. Jaime told me that everyone is hoping for Yachty to make a quick return and that there's no replacing him. But he says Cruz was great. Jaime says sometimes he forgets that Cruz is behind the plate because with their approach and what they're thinking in certain situations, quote, they're like the same person. Mike Matheny says when it comes to handling pitchers and the day-to-day of catching, Yachty has no secrets. He shares everything with Tony Cruz. And Dan Matheny says credit Cruz for soaking up all the knowledge he possibly can.
We're going to see a lot of Tony here next week or so. Cardinals hopeful that Molina would be back before the playoffs. Pittsburgh has jumped out to a 3-1 lead as Adams pops it up against the shift. Long way to go for Frazier and makes the play. What a catch. Todd Frazier.
Sampson, the pitcher, helped save him right there. Almost got in the way of it. Sampson pulled up at the last second. Frazier, and that's back-to-back great plays by this third baseman, Todd Frazier. But watch him come over there, checks where he's at. Pitcher almost got into it, and then he couldn't believe he made the play, and then he helped save him from coming all the way over.
Such a long way to go. No chance to get over there and at least stop your momentum, too. So he covered an awful lot of ground to make this catch.
He did a pretty good job, too, of holding on with his right hand as he kept himself from going over.
Here is Stephen Piscotty, and he takes a ball. So you get over there, you're racing as fast as you can. Head over heels to make the catch. And then you have one final thing to do. Show me the baseball. Did you really catch it? I got it. There it is.
Between his legs.
Right there. Right between the legs.
Okay.
Here's a 1-1. Well, you got to show it. Right? Great play, Todd Frazier.
Remember, he took a robbed a base hit and RBI from Peralta to end the third inning. So two back-to-back great plays. I don't need to see any more.
I think if Jeff Suppan going between the legs in that great rumble and brawl the Cardinals and Reds had a few years ago. There's massive humanity, and all of a sudden there's a 38-year-old pitcher crawling through somebody's legs.
If you've ever been in one of those, fights, and you find yourself on the ground, that is a very uncomfortable place to be, and you aren't so worried about getting hit or something, but it's someone stepping on your hands. He was crawling for his life.
Scotty pops it up to the right side. Votto is over, avoids the umpire, and that's out of play. Votto had to run around Phil Cuzzy, the first base umpire.
Run into him and claim obstruction.
Couldn't do that. Umpire is considered.
Step on a base.
Well, you could just run him over if you wanted to.
Right.
In the air, and Jay Bruce near the line and makes the catch in foul territory. Our DraftKings players to watch. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Grichuk, Pham, Santana, and Gung. DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code CARDS. It's a look at the highest slugging percentage the National League rookies since the All-Star break. Here's Colton Wong, who's helped his defense and his glove tonight in the middle of 2 double plays. Randall Grichuk sitting tonight, could pinch hit. And a 1-0 to Colton Wong, who blooped a single to left his first time up. Grounds it to second base, taken there by Phillips. Another look at the play from Todd Frazier. 5th inning rolls in when we come back. The All-Star showing off the leather. Nice play, Todd Frazier. All right, so almost history there. Here is Adam Duvall. And the first pitch is fouled for strike one.
There's more no-hitters thrown in September and April than any other months. And a lot of the minor league call-ups and different things like that, so maybe not as strong of a lineup. And then other times, you know, early in the season, one pitcher may be way ahead of the hitters before they start catching up.
Oh, 0-2 pitch to the 8th place hitter of the Reds. Lackey has struck out 4. 6 base hits, 1 run. Has not walked a man. Chicago has added a run, 3-0 their lead over Milwaukee in the top of the 6th. Lackey doesn't get the call. Pittsburgh a 4-1 lead in the top of 3 against Colorado. Just missed.
You know, it's fun to scoreboard watch, but you got to take care of your own business.
I enjoy scoreboard watching.
I do it from the day one. First game of the year.
Yep. Actually, I start in January. Starting to size up the pitching matchups. Here's a 2-2. And a base hit. Base hit into right for Duvall. Cooper Tires proud to present Fireworks Night. It's coming up Friday, September 25th. The Cardinals take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Stay in your seats. After the game, you'll watch a dazzling fireworks display with the Gateway Arch as the backdrop. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's the pitcher, Sampson, who has 1 sacrifice this year. Hit into a double play his first time up. Tell you what, Carpenter is as close a third baseman can get with someone that squares.
You're absolutely right. You know, he really, as Lackey kind of held on, it gave Carpenter all the time to come right down. He was inside the mound. Just watch as he'll come in here, and then he slows up, and he comes back in again. Left him only thinking he could only bunt it to first base side, so he didn't square around as much as you normally would, and he fouled it off.
Did offer at that last pitch, 0-2. Now Carpenter back a few steps. Duvall the lead at first base. Blocked nicely by Cruz. Cardinals trying to turn their 3rd double play in this ball game. And the 1-2. That'll go down as a strikeout for Lackey. 5 tonight. Runner remains at first base. We're back to the top of the lineup in Jason Bourgeois.
And what has happened to pitchers and their lack of fundamentals, getting the bunts down?
They're throwing to a bag.
Throwing to a bag. Another one. Been horrible this year.
I don't remember
throughout baseball
guys not being able to throw to a bag as much as I've seen it this year.
We have a couple guys, one in particular, that it's a problem.
1 out, runner at first, and here is Bourgeois. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Had a base hit back in the 3rd, a soft liner into right field. 15 of 19 first pitch strikes for John Lackey this evening. Outfield is shallow. Big gap in left center. 0-1. Look at the middle of this lineup. Bruce, 25 home runs. Votto, the great on-base percentage, amazing second half. Phillips may hit 300 this year. Todd Frazier, 35 home runs, 40 doubles. And yet, Cincinnati has just 63 wins this season. does give you an idea how poor their pitching has been. And on the flip side, the Cardinals offense missing, stagnant at times, but their pitching second to none.
Yeah, I mean, because of the injuries to the Cardinal players, offensive players, the Reds are a much better offensive team than St. Louis. Say the same thing about the Cubs and the Pirates, but the pitching is what kept them in all the games.
Ground ball on a broken bat and a base hit. So Lackey gets the ground ball, but Bourgeois is aboard his second hit. Get all the flavor without all the work. McDonald's new barbecue pulled pork sandwich. It's here for a limited time. So Bourgeois, a soft liner into right, now an infield hit. And here's danger at the plate in Jay Bruce.
Lackey's allowed 8 hits, but it was the Bruce home run in the first inning. Everything else has been singles, and a couple double play balls have helped him. He needs a third.
Just the second plate appearance for the Reds with a man in scoring position tonight. The other was the bases loaded, pitcher up, and only one out. That turned out to be a double play. A 2-0 pitch here to Jay Bruce. Long look by Lackey. Now time is called. Hitting just 187 with runners in scoring position. Duvall is your runner at second base. Hit sharply. Adams spins. Out there. Back to first. Oh, it's a double play. And what a double play it is. Matt Adams could not have started that any better. Third double play turned by the Cardinals. Well, inside the division, they played much better than the rest of Major League Baseball. They are 31-50 outside the division. You see the runs are down and ERA a little bit higher outside the Central. Brian Price, the former pitching coach, now the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. That's now 28 double plays induced by John Lackey. 3 tonight as Cruz pulls that foul for strike one.
Tony Cruz's first time up, and we had runners at first and second, and lined the ball to Votto, who was way off the first base bag, and then they doubled Adams off at second. That could have been.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that could have been very dangerous with Adams trying to get back on that line drive. You can't simulate that kind of quick move.
Such a good play as Frazier backs up about a half step and makes the throw to get Cruz, but such a good play by Adams to spin and throw and lead the man at the bag at second. Not easy to do.
And there's another, play like that. If you're not 100%, or if you're kind of safeguarding your body, you don't execute that play. So it looked like he feels like he's healthy enough that he can make all those quick moves on the field, and a good sign that he won't re-injure that leg.
Well, little things like that is definitely a plus.
Absolutely.
Here's what we're talking about with Matt Adams. Hard hit ball off the bat of Bruce, and the spin and throw led Peralta perfectly, and there's Lackey at the bag. Third double play turned by the Cardinals tonight.
When Lackey first came over at the trade deadline a year ago, and he looked like he didn't want to stand in the batter's box. Half the time, if he did stand there, he never had any intent to swing. Now he looks like he's kind of getting in the swing of things.
I've heard a number of people since Adam Wainwright went down with his Achilles injury, and it happened in the batter's box, that they want to see the designated hitter in the National League.
Stupid.
You don't like it?
Stupid. It's inferior baseball. Better baseball is the National League. It's a much, much better game. And just because every so often you have a freak injury, I mean.
It's knocked down by Sampson and flips it to Votto for the out. So 2 outs, and it brings in Carpenter as we go Kia in the driver's seat. Cardinals have played a number of close games. We've talked about how they come back a lot. They win late. Arcia in the driver's seat. Most one-run games, the Cardinals and White Sox, along with Tampa Bay, 54 of them. And Chicago, 52. But your thoughts on the DH?
I just think that, we've outlawed contact plays at home plate. I'm waiting for somebody to propose, and after Gung's injury at second base, that they say, well, you can't do that at second. Now you take pitchers out because they potentially could get hurt. They want helmets for pitchers. I mean, at some point you've got to understand that this is an athletic event, that, yeah, there's a possibility of injury, but, whereas we have this rash of injuries, that you have to make all these changes of rules that for a sport that's been on record books for over 100 years.
I look at it 2 ways. Number one, I do not want to see the DH in the National League. However, I want it both ways, because I like to see guys that are in the tail ends of their careers that still can hit but don't play the field still have a chance to hit. So I like both, but I prefer the National League style of baseball.
The origin of the DH was because it became an attendance gimmick for the American League, and allowed guys that were some stars that had leg injuries to extend their career.
Yep, to second base, and Phillips retires Matt Carpenter. We have played 5 here at Busch Stadium. We're tied up. It's 1-1. will come your way at 6:30. Lynn coming off a tough start against the Chicago Cubs. Really struggled with the strike zone. A lot of walks in that game. That was on Friday at Wrigley Field. He's back on the bump tomorrow, and we'll come your way at 6:30. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Todd Frazier. Votto has struck out twice. Came in hitting .429 at Busch Stadium this year. And the first pitch in the top of the 6th is fouled back, and a good cut by Votto. Shaking his head, he thought he should have driven that out of the ballpark. Here's an 0-1. There are certain players in the game that, for me personally, I'd love to watch them play. Just whether it's a great hitter, pitcher, certain fielders I enjoy, the balls hit to them. I'm intrigued watching Joey Votto. How he doesn't expand the zone, can hit for power, and just took a strike for a ball.
That's what I was thinking, the same thing. There, his reputation probably created the ball. It sure looked like it was a good pitch.
Chokes up on the bat, the 2-1. Bonds for all his great power. And say what you will, why that power was there, but he used to choke up on the bat too and whip the barrel through the zone. And had an incredible batter's eye too. The 2-2. The career high for double plays behind John Lackey in a game is 4. He's had 3 tonight. That's happened 9 times in his career. When it was 4 was back with the Angels in 2006, nearly 10 years ago. 3-2. Good players on teams that have struggled this year. Some have been major disappointments in terms of what their teams have done. Arenado, Votto, Harper, Goldschmidt. Great players. Arenado would be in that class of watching field.
Absolutely.
Here's a ground ball to the right side, and there's Colton Wong.
And it goes back to the argument about can a player be the most valuable player and be on a losing team, or do you give an award for the most outstanding player and then the MVP comes from a winning team?
As it relates to the Cardinals, just go back to Andre Dawson on a bad Cubs team edging Ozzie Smith for the MVP.
Well, or 1979 there were co-MVPs, Keith Hernandez and also Willie Stargell. Stargell's numbers were so inferior to Keith Hernandez, but the Pirates won, and the Cardinals did not. And they end up in a tie. But if you look at Willie's numbers, Pop's numbers to Keith, it just wasn't his.
Is he the best defensive first baseman you've seen, Keith Hernandez?
Probably, yeah.
0-2. That's been my argument the last couple of years in looking at Molina, is that no one talks about in terms of his defense and controlling a running game. And granted, we see him day in and day out, but how that is not taken into account. He is a part of so many pitches and plays throughout a season. As Phillips is carved up and strikes out. 6 strikeouts for John Lackey. The Cardinals will have the luck of the Irish on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. It's halfway to St. Patrick's Day at Busch Stadium. If you purchase a special theme ticket, you'll receive a limited edition St. Patrick's Day themed Patty Cap. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/theme. Todd Frazier with 2 outs and nobody on. That's fouled back. I don't think we've ever had a ball make it into the booth here at Busch Stadium 3.
No, we have not. And boy, I'm still, my wife, June, and everybody in my family is thanking you for saving my life in Chicago.
Happy to do it. Actually was Milwaukee, so I can tell it stands out for you.
No, it was in Chicago because it was who caught the ball.
Well, it was Milwaukee, and I'll never forget it.
Oh, I thought
neither will my
the last road trip. The one the Shays caught, 50 feet away from me.
That was in another booth, but I would have saved you there too.
But I mean, we made it sound like you saved me once again.
Well, when you were in my lap,
I
took care of you.
I could say something about it.
Now let's just focus on the baseball at hand. Not sure what's about to come out of your mouth. I don't think I want to know, but I'll wait between innings. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Two balls and 1 strike on Todd Frazier. Speaking of catches, great play earlier tonight with Frazier near the camera well and head over heels and came up with a tremendous catch. The 2-1.
Paul Jockey, general manager of the Reds, feels that the Reds really don't need a retooling, need maybe an upgrade here and there. I think they probably need more than that, but they do have a good nucleus, but that nucleus is getting older.
Back to Lackey, and he has it. A lineout off the bat of Frazier. Self-defense for John Lackey for the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 6th. Self-defense for number 41. It's our BJC Healthcare difference maker. Fewest runs allowed in Major League Baseball. And if you wind up with the most wins along with that, what the teams have done, 42, 43, 44. The great 04 team, 2015 as well. Pitching, pitching, pitching. The name of the game.
And the Cardinals have gotten it on a consistent basis. So every night they're in a ball game. They haven't been able to be in too many slugfests, but they're all close ball games, and when you win the majority of them, you have a lot of fun.
2-0 on Tommy Pham. This pitcher came in with opponents hitting .317 against him. He had walked 21 in nearly 40 innings. He had walked 8 while striking out only 7 in his last 3 starts. And yet here he is in a 1-1 game in the 6th.
And we've just seen where the Cardinals are facing these young Reds pitchers that I don't think that anybody is saying that they see future Cy Young or All-Star pitchers in them. There's talented ones, but there's some that probably are better suited for long relief or middle relief.
2-2 is popped up. Shallow right field. Jay Bruce comes in, puts it away, 1 out.
Yeah, the Cardinals really are not doing a lot of damage.
Sam LeCure, the right-hander. Tony Cingrani, hard-throwing lefty.
I thought Cingrani was going to be a mainstay in their rotation.
I can understand why Walt would say that, and he should say that. He's the general manager of the club. But it's rookie starter after rookie starter. They have got to find some type of pitching to complement what is a dangerous middle of the order in their lineup.
Well, and then how do you get free agent pitchers to go to a small bandbox of a stadium where the ball flies out?
Overpay, but yet you're a small market team. The 2-0. 3-0.
You know, when you say overpay, someone's going to overpay you, and you don't have to necessarily go to a small ballpark. So it's tough. But they created that small ballpark.
3-1.
And maybe at the time of it, remember Ken Griffey Jr. was there, so the short right field plays to Bruce, but Griffey's gone, and we're still trying to find pitchers that can be successful there.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. 3-2 on Hayward. He has singled and also grounded out. 1 for 2. Full count on the Cardinals right fielder. And it's a 1-out walk. You would have to think, because of the numbers we've given on Sampson, that his leash is very, very short.
I think it really is on just about every one of these Red starters, because they get about 5 innings and they know they got to go get them real quick. They're lucky if they can get 5 innings from a player, and it's tough to have young pitching when you go. The best thing you can get is 5 innings and a no decision. You go much beyond that, you might be looking at a loss.
Peralta hit one to the track in right field and was robbed by Todd Frazier his second time up. Took a hit and RBI away. He is 0 for 2. First pitch to Johnny Peralta. Taken for a ball. Adams is on deck. Pittsburgh in the top of 4. May turn into a Coors Field type of game. It's already 5-3 in the top of the 4th. Chicago leading 3-0 in the top of the 8th. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Johnny Peralta. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, this is one Peralta you think would guess, get the bat speed going, which is, you can just see lately he's been dragging. It's not the authority that we saw in the first inning, but on 2-0 he could guess right, park one in the seats.
And like you say, use a little educated guess, maybe start that swing a little bit sooner. Johnny wearing down a little bit, and he got a little time off last weekend, but a lot of that's due to the fact of playing day after day after day and playing all these type of ball games. There's pressure on the pitchers and the fielders.
Here's a 2-0. Runner goes. Taken for a ball. Thrown out to second, and Hayward is in there safely. Stolen base number 23.
I don't know if I ever remember Pena with a hitch. And watch as he receives, our catcher receives his ball, and look at, there's a little bit of a delay there, and the ball sails the first base side. But Hayward leads the ball club in steals. 3 times he's been over 20.
on 3-0. Prior to the walk issued to Jason Hayward, this right-hander had set down 9 straight.
I remember when he started this 6th inning, they had the bullpen active with a righty and a lefty, so they knew, and this could be his last batter.
The 3-1 pitch to Peralta, and he walked him. We have Adams coming up. Brian Price has a lefty loose and ready to go in Cingrani. Does he go get him here? The Cardinals then could counter if they wanted to.
I know Brian Price has talked about trying to extend some of these pitchers and try to learn that when you get into mistakes, how to get out of them. But it doesn't look like this is going to be the case. He'll stick with Sampson much longer, and he gets a call to the bullpen.
Will the Cardinals pull back Matt Adams? So Chevy called to the pen. Cingrani, the lefty, coming on. And a 1-1 game. The Cardinals and the Brewers this Thursday. Fans purchasing the special Billikens Night theme ticket receive an exclusive St. Louis U themed blue and white Cardinals cap. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/theme. So Cingrani is in. This is our Hyundai pitch arsenal. It is fastball after fastball with him. Hard thrower. The Cardinals pull back Matt Adams. They will counter with Randal Grichuk in this spot. So runners at first and second. 1 out in a 1-1 game here in the 6th inning. Adams tonight was 0 for 2, or rather 0 for 1, excuse me, with a walk. Also made a fine defensive play at first base.
And we'll see if Randal Grichuk stays in this ball game. Go out to left field and Piscotty go to first base, or they do another maneuver. But Cingrani, second stint with the big club. For the 31st time. Made a spot start. He's 0-3 this year, 4.80 ERA. His 31st appearance. Broke with the club and was in the bullpen.
1 out and 2 on. I'd be surprised if Grichuk did stay in the game if he's not able to throw at 100%. Tie ball game late, or if the Cardinals in a tight game late would have the lead or even behind. You know, you're putting your club at risk.
Let me ask you this. Should we read anything into it that it's Grichuk and not Holiday in this situation?
Thought about that too.
Especially if Grichuk doesn't go stay in the game.
Maybe Mike Matheny saying I'm saving Holiday for later. Who knows?
Sure. I mean, you got two pretty good options from the right hand side. Either one of them.
Here's a 1-1. 1-2 the count on Randal Grichuk.
Talked to Randal yesterday or today, and he said he was a little surprised when he came out in that ball game, thinking, you know, in a 1-run game and his ability long ball, that So it wasn't predetermined, or he was told that he was only going to play a portion of the game.
Grichuk is 3 for 13 as a pinch hitter this year. The 1-2. High chopper towards third, gloved by Frazier. Runners advance to second and third. To further your point, Al, Holiday 4 for 8 off of Tony Cingrani.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about. He was a hero last night, Stephen Piscotty. Will they get a chance here? You have a lefty on deck in Colt Wong. They could pitch around Piscotty, but then the danger is bases loaded for Colt Wong.
Toyota Keys, and they're going to give Piscotty a chance to beat him. They're going to put him on. Can't argue with that strategy. But we're saying who's going to be the hero today? Who's going to step up? And it just seems like on a nightly basis they're throwing darts at the wall and said who's going to step up, whose turn. Not relying on one individual, and that's a great sign. This is definitely a team, not handful of individuals. It's been a team effort all season long.
The risk you run with this move, if you're Brian Price, is that the obvious part of it is you load the bases up, a chance for big damage. You also put an awful lot of pressure on Tony Cingrani. And this year, Cingrani, 30 innings pitched, 22 walks.
That's a great point. I mean, if I'm Brian Price, I sit there and I think, well, if I have a pitcher on my staff, and of course he started with big club, but then spent the majority of the year at AAA, had some shoulder discomfort and stuff. But if I can't trust somebody to come in and throw strikes with the bases loaded, how much can I really trust him for next season?
Upstairs to Colt Wong. So the base is loaded. Wong does have a grand slam this year, 2 in his career. This year, 2 for 13 in this spot. This crowd ready to erupt. He is 0 for 5 against Cingrani. Base is loaded. Here comes a 1-0. Nowhere close. 2 balls and no strikes. The opponents against Cingrani with the bases loaded this year at 3 for 5 with a home run, a double. Lefties hitting .263 this season. Wong on a 2-0 pitch pops it up. Pena will give it a look, and it's out of play.
I'd like to think 2-0. You're swinging at a pitch that you think you can drive, and popping a ball straight up isn't the pitcher or the product that you're looking for. So let's hope he can a little more selective. The pitcher, the pressure's on the pitcher. Now that he's fallen behind, he's got to come to you.
Cardinals have the bases loaded, and they do not have a hit this inning. 2-2 the count. Inning started with a fly out by Pham. Walk to Hayward. Peralta walked. Grichuk, the pinch hitter against Cingrani, bounced out to third. Intentional pass to Piscotty, and here comes the crowd again on this 2-2. Wong, little flare into right field. Bruce under it, makes the catch. The Cardinals have stranded 6 tonight. Cingrani out of the jam. Hashtag MW Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. And that's from the hashtag, or at least the Twitter profile of Don't Call Me Helen. Mark Reynolds into the ball game. He'll take over at first base. Cardinals have been out hit 8-4. And Brian Pena will be the hitter. Wong with the bases loaded, fly to right. Cardinals have stranded 6. Lackey has been outstanding yet again. Gave up a home run to Jay Bruce back in the first inning. That has been it. First pitch drops in for his strike to Pena, who's 1 for 2. Cardinals have turned 3 double plays behind John Lackey tonight. The 0-1.
Once again, the old Warrior giving you that 6 solid innings, keeping you in a ball game, giving you a chance to win. He doesn't worry about things that are beyond his control, does he?
Well, sometimes he gets a little upset at the umpire. A little frustration.
But that's part of, I mean, but he does it in a way that,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
I get a kick out of watching.
I like him too. I mean, I'll be honest, going into this season, I wasn't overly excited about him being in the rotation. But I'll be the first one to tell you I think they should re-sign him for next year.
The 2-1.
I know the Cardinals are very high on a lot of their pitching prospects, but I think we saw this year Marco Gonzalez, Cooney, maybe they aren't here now. Really kind of both of them had some, especially Gonzalez. I don't think he's ever been healthy this year. And some of the other pitchers, remember, you have a high standard here. Just getting guys in here in rotation, that doesn't mean you're going to win. And that's the one thing the Cardinals do. Year after year, they're in contention. 5th straight trip to the postseason. So first time that's happened in franchise history.
Here's a 3-2. Late swing by Pena to stay alive.
And if those young pitchers do come through, you still got a chance to deal back, because I think he's going to. Some clubs are going to find it to be attractive. What about the Cincinnati Reds? They need a veteran pitcher to kind of show them the way. I think so.
That's off of Lackey. Waves off the medical team. That line shot off his leg. Remember the play that he made, the line out off the bat of Frazier to end the 6th. It's a hard hit ball right back at John.
See where it does hit him. And the right cheek, the buttocks. And I'm sure he's, being from Texas, he's going to say that doesn't bother me, but I've been kicked by bulls harder than that. Throw a pitch or two and tell him he's fine. That may stiffen up in between innings.
He says he's fine. And it brings in Suarez, who hit into a 4-3 double play back in the 4th inning. Lorenzen will be the pinch runner for Pena. See if they want to do some running here on Tony Cruz. As the bunt is back to Lackey. He may have had a play at second base. It would have been close.
Yeah, I think so, but you got to get one.
Double play is a big factor tonight. Now the go-ahead run at second base. Our AT&T U-verse Rewind. 3 double plays. In the 2nd, the 4th, A very nice one in the 5th, started by Matt Adams. Adam Duvall will be the hitter for Cincinnati. He is 2 for 2. Pair of singles. Only extra base hit given up by John Lackey. He's given up 9 hits tonight. 8 singles. And the home run, 456 feet off the bat of Bruce, second batter of the night.
You know, Duvall's got that good power, but he's got a flare just a couple balls to right for his base hits.
Skip Schumacher has moved to the on-deck circle.
Skip leads the major leagues in pinch hit appearances and pinch hits and pinch hit doubles.
Now they pull back Schumacher. They may go with a different hitter. There's a strike. 0-2. The 2 lefties warming up in the pen for St. Louis. And he got him. Strikes him out as Cruz looks back. Lorenzen at second base. 7 strikeouts for John Lackey. 2 away. Plaza Tires Fox Tracks. He gets Duvall to chase. And Tucker Barnhart will be the pinch hitter.
Barnhart going to catch after he pinch hits.
Barnhart is a switch hitter. Bourgeois is on deck. Barnhart selected by the Reds in the 10th round in 2009. It's rated as their best defensive catcher in their organization for the 4th consecutive year.
72 games this year. Right-hand is 178. Lefty's almost 100 points more, 272. All 3 of his home runs have come from the left side. 13 of his 18 RBIs.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. I thought they may go with Skip Schumacher in this spot, but with 2 left-handers getting loose. Brian Price sticks with the switch hitter in this particular position. The 1-1. Barnhart, little flare to short, and Lackey is through 7. Let's stretch. It's game number 2. Reds and Cardinals. We're tied up at 1. Hunter went 5 1/3, gave up 1 run. Jay Bruce, a solo home run. Lackey is through 7. Pham 1 for 3 with the lone RBI for St. Louis. That's a look at your Mazda game summary. This is also our Honda home run inning. Cardinals player hits a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. From Jefferson City, Missouri, Sam LeCure, who signed through this season, will come in for the Cincinnati Reds. 14th appearance. He came up in 2010 for the Reds. Former 4th round pick by the Reds in 2005. Jay Garrietta has gone 8 innings. He struck out 9, 108 pitches, trying to become a 20-game winner tonight. Cubs lead 4-0 in the 9th. It's in the 5th. Pittsburgh leading Colorado 6-3. Here's Tony Cruz to lead it off for the Cardinals. Only 4 hits thus far for St. Louis. Cruz lined into a double play to end the 2nd, with runners at 1st and 2nd. Hit a screamer to Joey Votto, and it turned into a double play. It's also grounded out to 3rd. Cingrani pitched out of a bases loaded jam in the 6th. Now LeCure, the 3rd pitcher used by Brian Price tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Has allowed a run in 10 of his 13 appearances, or a hit in 18 of those 13 appearances. He was promoted August 19th from Louisville.
The outfield is straight away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tony Cruz.
Cingrani and LeCure and David Holmberg were all part of a no-hitter at AAA this year. The first one ever by the Louisville Bats. Combined no-hitter.
And we nearly had one tonight in the major leagues for Detroit that was broken up late. Greg Garcia has moved to the on-deck circle. A pinch hit for John Lackey. And then we'll see Matt Carpenter. 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
Another game where Lackey hopefully will be rewarded with a victory. He's got 12 wins, but 6th best ERA. And I think we all realize he should have more victories than that.
Cruz up the middle, and a base hit into center field. Under the glove of Suarez, who's not nearly the defender of Zach Cozart, who's done for the year. He's been very good with his bat, but defensively 18 errors and does not come up with that one.
Tony Cruz got a base hit last night. Again here tonight. Give him a few more plate appearances and a little more playing time, and hopefully he'll be able to contribute even more. Garcia has, hasn't he?
But a very good pinch hitter. The 26-year-old from California. First pitch is strike.
Leads the ball club in pinch hits. Hasn't been around that long, but has an knack of getting on base.
Oh, 2 the count. Center fielder Bourgeois may be playing a little too deep with Garcia at the plate.
Oh, his home run he hit here against the Cubs was over dead center field, but I would agree with you.
Now the count is 0-2. Cardinals electing not to bunt in this situation. And that's something you could have thought about too. John Lackey handles the bat fairly well with 4 sacrifices this year. He could have sent him up to bunt. Save Garcia.
Save him for later on, but I think when you get into September, you got the expanded rosters, you kind of think you have enough of a bench to cover all aspects.
And a 1-2 pitch to Greg Garcia on its way. And he strikes out. Never swung the bat. Saturday, the postseason races are coming down to the wire, starting on Fox with a battle for control of the National League wild card between the Pirates and the Cubs. Then the Brewers take on the Cardinals. That's a game you can only see on FS1. Coverage starts Saturday at 11:30 on Fox and continues at 5:30 on FS1. One out, runner at first, and here's Matt Carpenter. Carpenter with his 40th double back in the third, scored his 91st run of the year. It was a ground rule double, just fair on the right field line, then hopped in the seats.
That was 25 home runs now.
Sitting on 24, I get your drift.
It's 2 for 4 off of Cure. So I'm trying to go successfully pitch inside to Garcia. Not sure he wants to do that to Carpenter.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Barnhart stayed in the game after pinch hitting. He's been tested with a couple of those breaking balls in the dirt. And been up to the challenge, making sure that Cruz stays at first base. 2 balls, no strikes. The 2-0. Crowd tonight of 43,981. 43981. Angels in the 7th inning, leading Houston 3-2. The Yankees and Toronto. That's in Toronto. The Sky Dome tied at 3. That's in the 10th. Texas with a 1-0 lead early on against Oakland. 2 balls, 1 strike on Matt Carpenter. Cruz, your runner at first. Pham on deck, 3-1 the count.
This game started off with Carpenter being rung out on a pitch outside. A lot of those pitches on the inside part of the plate are inconsistent with their strikes of balls. Come on, number 25.
3-1 pitch. LeCure has had all kinds of issues this year on the road. His ERA is well above 7. And he may have gotten away with his last pitch. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I thought this was the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Right down the middle of the plate. Good rip by Carpenter, and Barnhart said, can't make that same mistake again.
Sometimes in spots like these, you think about starting the runner, but the strikeouts are up for Carpenter this year. He has struck out already tonight. You do not have good speed at first base with Tony Cruz. We'll see, though. Cruz a slightly bigger lead, and a 3-2 pitch to Carpenter. Time is called, and now Carpenter back in the batter's box. The outfield is deep straight away. Cruz is running on the 3-2. A base hit in the right field. Cruz on his way to third. And here come the Cardinals again. Late innings. Runners at the corners. 1 out. And a chance again for Tommy Pham. How did he hit that?
I think it was maybe hit it off his knuckles, not the bat.
Yeah.
Pitch inside, looked like he was self-defense. He's going to hit him, or he put it in play. And shortstop covering there, so Tony Cruz, doesn't matter how well he runs, anybody can get over first to third when you start the runner there. Carpenter once again just keeps on doing amazing things. That's his 46th multi-hit game. And Tommy Pham, who got the Cardinals on the scoreboard, has another chance to be a hero.
One out, runners at first and third. First pitch to Pham, taken low. Tommy Pham with an RBI double to score Carpenter back in the third inning. The lone run for St. Louis. We are tied up 1-1 our score here in the bottom of the seventh. One-0 pitch to Pham. On its way. Inside.
And
2 balls and no strikes.
Tommy Pham is 1 for 1. Remember, it was the game-winning home run, a 2-run shot in Cincinnati. Well, hopefully he has that in his memory bank. Sure he does.
Outfield deep, straight away. 2 balls, no strikes on Tommy Pham.
That was the Sunday afternoon game, that the only game the Cardinals won in that series in Cincinnati most recently.
As hot as he's been, I realize he's a rookie. Sometimes you wouldn't give them the green light. They might do it here with Pham.
I think you always do. You know, you just talked about be disciplined enough. Go up there. You're the one that really knows. Don't take a pitch away from him, but be selective. It's not a pitch you're looking for. Take it, even if it's a strike.
3-0, he is swinging. And a high fly ball lifted into deep left center field. Cruz will tag up from third. He will score, and Tommy Pham tonight has driven in the 2 runs for St. Louis. Their first lead. It's 2-1.
One little thing right there also, Dan. Obviously, that's deep enough. That's going to score anybody. And Cruz comes around, and Tommy Pham picks up his second RBI of the game, 18th of the year. But I think Carpenter made a wise decision. He gets a pitch. He hits a high fly ball. Carpenter was going to tag up and get himself in scoring position. But that was a very strong throw from Bourgeois. And I think Carpenter would have been out. The question would have been, would he be out ahead of the Cruz stepping on the home plate? So he pulled back into first, and the Cardinals guaranteed to get the second run.
Carpenter would have had stolen base number 4 on the year if he continued to run towards second base. He stopped, and he had that stolen easily. That first pitch easily would have stolen second base. With that in mind, they throw over. It's kind of odd. He took 3 or 4 steps and then stopped. And the cure never even gave him a look. Very short lead this time.
You know, you see a little different delivery, but most of the time, you know, they kind of look at you or do something to make you aware that it could be thrown over.
And time is called. The first pitch was a ball to Hayward. Jason tonight singled off of Joey Votto's glove. Grounded out to first. Walked. Picked up stolen base number 23 and then was left stranded in the 6th.
Congratulations to Jake Arrieta. 20-game winner tonight with a shutout. At least he won his 20th. 4-0. We think he finished that game.
Here's a 1-0. And in this ball game, John Lackey, his 25th quality start. A new season high for John Lackey.
And his teammates have given him the opportunity to get this victory too. much deserved, but they got to get a couple more, 6 more outs.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Hayward. Up the middle, Phillips backhands, flips to second to get Carpenter. What a play, Brandon Phillips. We've gotten used to that. Cardinals, though, first lead of the night, 2-1 as we head to the 8th. Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update with Pat Paris. All right, Pat, all the highlights and news around Major League Baseball coming up on the postgame show. Kevin Siegrist is our Chevy call to the pen. This will be his 75th appearance. Logged an awful lot of innings for a guy that's not a lefty specialist, but just a hard-throwing lefty that can get either side of the plate. Those guys, he can get them out, and has turned into one of the best relievers in baseball.
Outstanding season for Siegrist. Came up in 2013. He was almost unhittable. Last year he had some forearm issues and nerve, but this year he's back on track and having a tremendous year. 7-1, 1-loss record, 2.26, 6 saves.
And here we are in the top of the 8th. A big point in this game was on 3-2 to take a chance and start Tony Cruz with that 3-2 pitch, and boy, did it pay off. Base hit by Carpenter, winds up at third. Pham drives him in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think we've all become accustomed that, when it's crunch time, you're going to see Carpenter rise to the occasion, and he did once again with that, going base hit, first and third, and the sac fly by Pham to break the tie.
1-2, and Pham swinging on a 3-0 pitch, giving him that confidence.
And I think this is going to be an interesting test for Siegrist. He has more success against right-handed batters than after Bourgeois. You got Bruce and Bottom.
And a strikeout of Bourgeois to start the 8th.
That will help right there. With the lead man. And of course, one of the best aspects of Siegrist is his ability to strike out batters. Don't put it in play. Get those strikeouts. A lot of good things just happen.
Now Jay Bruce, who's 2 for 12 against the Cardinals left-hander. He has accounted for the lone run for Cincinnati tonight, a long home run, second batter of the game. That was off of John Lackey. Outside of that, Lackey very good. You can envision, if the Cardinals get into postseason play and it's extended, where their bullpen could be lights out. It's already good. Then you add an Adam Wainwright late innings.
Oh, I mean, when Seagrass is not pitching the 8th, I think there's still a little bit of a void there. So that's where, if Adam Wainwright could do that, and of course we're asking an awful lot, but there's no time to get him in shape for a rotation. So the only option you have is to be late inning reliever. And he would love that challenge.
It's been there before.
And you see Jay Bruce, very little success against Seagrass, and Votto even worse, 0 for 9.
Here's a 1-2 with the breaking ball, and it's 2-2. The question right now for Mike Matheny is, if this lead stays at 2-1 and you go to the 9th, do you go with Rosenthal for a 3rd day in a row and a chance to set the single season saves record in Cardinals history? 4-out save on Sunday. He pitched here last night. Do you push him for a 3rd consecutive day?
He's gotten in trouble when they've tried to do that. They've tried to not do that very often. 22 pitches Sunday, 18 last night for Seagrass. For Rosenthal.
2-2, swung on and missed, and a strikeout of Jay Bruce. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Seagrass had yesterday off, but pitched both on Saturday and Sunday. So he's pitching in 3 or 4 days. There'd be 3 straight days for Rosenthal. I know you got Broxton. I know you got Seagrass down there. But if you were at some point, we got those guys for days that you didn't want to push Rosenthal. What would you think about the 2nd inning for Seagrass, the way he's throwing?
Jake Arrieta, by the way, the first Cub since Ferguson Jenkins, the Hall of Famer, did this in 1971. Arrieta has joined him at least 3 complete games and 3 complete game shutouts and 200 strikeouts. What a year for Jake Arrieta. The 2-0 pitch to Joey Votto. First Cub to get to 20 wins since John Lieber back in 2001. Lieber at that time was one of the fastest workers in all of baseball.
Not sure, but I think Ferguson Jenkins, I think he had 6 20-win seasons. Hall of Famer, and at one time was the only Hall of Famer that had 3,000 strikeouts and less than 1,000 walks.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Old-fashioned hardball right there on Joey Votto, and he's a strike away from striking out the side here in the top of the 8th.
We know what a great hitter that Joey Votto is, but he is 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts against Seagrass. Fastball away.
The 2-2. With 2 more strikeouts tonight, that's 85 on the year for Kevin Seagrass and just over 67 innings pitched. Be careful here on 3-2. Here it comes to Votto. So Joey Votto continues his streak of reaching base here at Busch Stadium. Last time he had not reached base, this ballpark was opening day of 2014. So a 2-out walk, and it brings in Brandon Phillips. He is 1 for 8 against Segrist. The outfield is deep. Short lead at first. Strike one on Brandon Phillips. Two and one. This becomes a very big pitch in this game. 2 balls, 1 strike, and the count on Phillips, who's knocked 12 home runs. The 2-1. And that is a fair ball. Votto trudging along on his way to third. He'll stop there. Picked by Reynolds on the cutoff and the throw from Hayward. It's a double for Brandon Phillips.
That ball landed right on the chalk line down the right field line. So over Reynolds' head. Votto taking off here, but not the fastest foot, and with Hayward and his rocket arm. Watch this ball. The chalk will come up. Hayward gets to it, but they get both runners at second and third in scoring position. 2 outs. And Frazier coming up. He's 0 for 5 against Segrist. 3 strikeouts and a walk.
You want to face Todd Frazier? I wouldn't think so. Intentional walk coming up. That'll load up the bases. Ivan De Jesus Jr. will be the pinch hitter.
Behind Segrist, but would they go to, Kevin has been so good. I don't think I ever mind seeing him face anybody. It's like Eric Lilliquist will come out and pay a visit. If you were going to make a pitching change, Mike Matheny would come out here, but Derek wants to talk to him over this, maybe get a quick scouting report. Part of having fun. Bases loaded, but you got 2 outs. Make a good pitch, you're out of the inning. 3 for 18 as a pinch hitter this year. 1 RBI, 7 strikeouts.
Made his major league debut at the Dodgers early in 2011. Since that time, he's been back and forth, up and down from the big leagues, the minor leagues, and he was called back up by the Reds to replace Marlon Byrd.
He's faced Segrist 1 time and popped up.
And the first pitch is a strike. Last December, he signed a minor league deal with Cincinnati. He played all 4 infield positions, 50 games at Louisville, hit .303, was called up in early June. Earlier this season, hit his first major league home run. Here's the 0-1. Now it's 0-2.
For the year, De Jesus in 65 games, 246 average, 4 home runs, 22 RBIs. Like you said, 3 for 18 as a pinch hitter.
Oh, 2 pitch. Broken bat, left side. There's Carpenter. Segrist out of the jam. It stays 2-1. We go to the home half of the 8th. Cardinals on top here at Busch. Some of the sights from this ball game tonight: 2-1 in favor of St. Louis, bottom of the 8th. And Steve Cishek begins to throw in the Cardinals' pen. So that is our answer, at least at the moment, on Trevor Rosenthal, as Pedro Villarreal is the new pitcher, right-hander in for Cincinnati. 29th appearance. Originally drafted by Cincinnati. That was back in 2008. And Peralta swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Cardinals have been out hit in this game, 10-6. But lead at 2-1 on 2 RBIs from Tommy Pham. Peralta has walked tonight, and he's 0 for 2. Outfield is straight away. More and more we're seeing teams trying to pitch the Cardinals shortstop inside. Broken bats, and if he does pick up a base hit, some of those are turning into flares into shallow right.
You just wonder if that's a little byproduct of his bat a little slower as he's kind of worn down as the season's gone through. And every now and then you use that educated guess, and you guess the pitch is coming in there, and you open up quicker, use your hands, and if you guess right, you're in good shape.
May do that right here on a 3-1 pitch. Taken high. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Brandon Moss will pinch hit for St. Louis. Then we'll see Stephen Piscotty. Peralta on base for the second time tonight. And a foul ball. To the count on Brandon Moss. Pittsburgh a 6-3 lead in the bottom of the 6th at Coors Field. Cubs have posted a victory 4-0 behind Jake Arrieta.
Take care of your own business.
Here's the 0-2. Moss, while wearing the Cardinal uniform, is hitting .241 with 4 home runs. He's driven in 8, 19 home runs total on the year.
At the time of the trade, he had 50 RBIs and 15 home runs.
One ball, 2 strikes. Villarreal, the 4th pitcher used by Cincinnati, began with Sampson, who went 5 1/3. Then Cingrani, LeCure, and now Villarreal. That's hit down the right field line and a foul ball. The Cardinals have 6 hits or under 6 hits in a game this year. It's happened 36 times. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
They are 18 and 18.
With just 6 hits. When they out-hit the opponent, the Cardinals are 55 and 14. When out-hit by the opponent, they're 24 and 40. Well, you can see playing .500 baseball with just 6 hits is pretty good.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Moss is swinging a miss, and he strikes out. First out here in the home half of the 8th. Trevor Rosenthal, at least at the moment, not throwing to pick up what would be a record save. Get the feeling that his night, or at least his chance at history, will come tomorrow, potentially, or over the weekend.
Yeah.
But when he's got 3 consecutive games in which he pitches, and Cishek getting loose, which has happened 5 times this year, his ERA is close to 5. We've seen it dip in velocity, some of the pitches up, not nearly as sharp.
And it's well documented. When he's rested, you know, the velocity is there. He's going to get those saves, so you commend Mike Matheny. And he might be in a situation tomorrow, but that's why they got Cishek and Broxton for these save opportunities when he's not a go. I'm sure if you asked Trevor, he would say he wants to pitch in this game, but I think they're being very smart, cautious with him.
To the count on Stephen Piscotty.
Over 2 and a walk. He was intentionally passed in the 6th inning. That loaded the bases.
Here's an 0-2. Kept in front.
Insurance runs here would be very, very nice.
It's a move for Brian Price back in the 6th. Piscotty coming up, and great respect for the rookie with runners at 2nd and 3rd. They intentionally passed him and dealt with Wong with Cingrani on the mound, and that paid off in a fly ball to right that was caught. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Piscotty.
Scotty is 1 for 1 with a double off of his pitcher. Real is a Texan. Born in Texas, lives in Texas.
Attended Howard College. Piscotty hits it down the left field line. That is a fair ball. They will hold Piscotty to a single. Very nice play by Duvall in left.
Really
advancing
was
on the play. Peralta to 3rd.
Yeah. Piscotty rounded that base thinking too, but there was a strong throw back in. And a real nice play by Duvall. Made Piscotty retreat. Get down here, losing it beyond our sight lines, but gets it back in, and Piscotty had to pull up and get back to first base.
Runners at the corners for Colton Wong. It's a big run down at 3rd base. Middle infield double play depth. The corners are in. Votto holding at first. First pitch to Wong.
Colton had the chance to break the game open with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Popped up to right, like you said, but here he can do a lot of damage with runners at the corners.
Here's the 0-1. Wong with a high fly ball lifted into deep right. Bruce makes the catch. Throw will go to 2nd, and a run will score. This makes it 3-1 St. Louis.
Big run right there. Big insurance run. Were they trying to get in on Wong? Ball out of way down the bottom of the zone, and he was looking for the sac fly, and he got it. It's Mike Schilt right there in the red jacket, AAA manager for Memphis and the Cardinals, and boy, he's done an outstanding job. He was 2nd year at Memphis now. He was at the 1st year. He was at AA Springfield for a while, but wherever he's gone, his team has performed extremely well.
You've heard about the book, The Cardinal Way. Joe Madden apparently has not read it. However, Mike Schilt was the one behind that book that helped put a lot of that together, and much of that are the teachings of George Kissel. That pitch inside to Tony Cruz.
just about everything that the Cardinals do, originated with George Kissel. Had very little contact with George in the minor leagues, just one instructional league, but did spend time in the big leagues with him. He was a coach for a couple of years, and then remember when Tony was here, he traveled with us for a year or two. You see Holiday.
You knew the man had great respect around the game of baseball because so many people, the opposition, traveling with Tony, sought out George Kissel.
They would hear that he was there, and Hall of Famers would go find him and go talk to him.
As Cruz taps that foul, Tony Cruz with a single to center field to start the 7th inning. The Cardinals started the runner. That was Cruz at first base. It's a single by Carpenter. Somehow he hit a pitch that was inside to right field. And in doing that, Cruz wound up at third and eventually scored in a sac fly RBI from Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham with 2 RBIs tonight, and the other by Colt Wong. Cishek is loose and ready to roll. His 3 saves this year. '94 in his career. 2-2 the count. Matt Holliday is on deck if Cruz can extend the inning. The 2-2 to Tony Cruz.
See Holiday. And near the on deck circle on the grass, and he had to jump up, and it looked like the ball might have gone right through his legs.
Cruz with a fly ball down the right field line. It is slicing and a foul ball. Scotty, your runner at first base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's battling. On the air tomorrow, Lance Lynn will get the call in Game 3. Will the Cardinals be looking for a sweep? We'll come your way at 6:30 tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest.
It's important to see Lance come out and have a good outing. Very upset with the home plate umpire, Dan Bellino, in Chicago his last start.
It's a good at bat here by Tony Cruz. 3-2.
Yeah, Real looks like he just can't get anything by to him.
And the 3-2 to Tony Cruz. Runner goes. Fouled back.
Another good cut. Barnhart out to talk to him. Say, put down these fingers. What do you want to throw?
It's another 3-2. Cruz went on the check swing, so Holiday left on deck. But the Cardinals get some insurance. Steve Cishek coming on to close it out when we come back. Miami. That was against the Washington Nationals. He'll be trying to get the final 3 outs tonight. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Suarez, Duvall, and Barnhart due up for the Reds. Brandon Moss stays in the game after striking out in his pinch hitting role. And it brings in Suarez, who has singled, hit into a double play, and sacrificed. 1 for 3 tonight.
He's never faced Cishek. Mentioned that Cishek has 94 saves, 3 this year. He had 39 last year. Those are with the Marlins.
He was telling me the other day, the big key with him, even with the odd motion, is still staying on top of the ball. When he gets under it, it makes that slider just spin and a drop in velocity by a considerable amount. 3 to 5 miles an hour. We'll see that drop. When he's right, he can be so tough against these right-handed hitters. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good thing about him too is he's good against left-handed hitters. In fact, you know, when you, even with a guy that throws from down where he releases the ball, almost that real extreme sidearm, they still have it. You have to stay on top of the ball. You know, you release.
The 1-2 pitch. There's that slider. Goodbye. First strikeout of the inning. Throws a right-handed hitter, in this case Suarez, and that's a good pitch.
Yeah, it really is. Good pitch. Comes out there. You see that spin is tight and just right to the outside corner, down and away. Very, very difficult to hit that pitch unless you go across the plate. Duvall's never faced him.
1 out, nobody on. First pitch, strike again.
Skip Schumacher said 2 for 7 against Cishak. Anybody who's hit the ball better than that, they're out of the game or injured.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Good slider again. Got him to chase. Cishak also said with the slider, with a right-hander, it says if the ball is coming at them. Odd delivery, down low, and from the side. And a lot of right-handed hitters give up on that slider. This one is yanked out to left field, and it is trapped by Piscotty, who holds Duvall to a single. Great play, Stephen Piscotty. Now the tying run will come to the plate.
Well, you could see he was going to dive, but and the worst thing scenario is going in your mind that that ball's going to rattle around in the corner, get by him, and you're going to have a triple at least. So he does a tremendous job to get close enough to this ball. Can't make the catch, but he smothers it, keeps it right there, and holds the ball to a single. That's his 3rd hit of the game. Just an outstanding effort by Piscotty. That is a big play.
Tucker Barnhart now, and a ground ball that is a foul ball.
Ooh, thank
Cardinals
you.
catch a break.
That would have been fair. Got by Moss and in his glove and goes over the thumb and into shallow right field. But foul ball, so no harm.
Well, what's interesting about this is see the arms up from the first base umpire until it goes past the bag. That's
home plate umpire's call.
Home plate umpire's call.
But they kind of make sure they get that correct.
Cardinals catch a break.
That being a glove on the right hand. Right-handed throwing Moss. That glove's in foul territory. So that helped make that call.
Two and 1 the count. Now Cruz out to visit with Cishak. His career against Cincinnati, 18 appearances, 2.60 ERA. And he's perfect in save opportunities, 5 for 5. The 2-1 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Insurance run helpful right now as the potential tying run is in the batter's box, not on first base. Barnhart is 0 for 1. Faces Cishak.
And that's why the play with Piscotty looms large in a potential double play in which the Cardinals have turned 3 tonight.
And they got Manus, Mr. Double Play, in the bullpen, along with, I'm sure, Randy Schote. They're just kind of sitting and watching.
Schote getting loose for Bruce and Votto. If we get there, and there's a called 3rd strike. 2 away.
That kind of just looked like it sat there and floated over.
John Lackey is our Budweiser player of the game. 7 innings, 9 hits. He induced 3 double plays. He's the league leader with 28 total induced double plays this year. Our Budweiser player of the game. The final hope is Bourgeois for Cincinnati. And this pitch is hit in the air. Shallow right. Magic number is at 8. The Cardinals pick up the win. Win number 95. They are 95-56 and look for a sweep tomorrow.
We talk about Lackey doing his job. He does it. His ERA now is down to 2.74, and we didn't know who the offensive star was going to be. Tommy Pham turned out to be that with the 2 RBIs, but what another team effort for the Redbirds. Not a lot of offense, but much better pitching, and they win a big one.
Tommy Pham, 2 more RBIs. Magic number 8.